Hey guys! Today we dive into the mechanics of lasting happiness by exploring why only a sliver of it, about 10%, comes from your circumstances, and how nearly half of your joy is shaped by the habits you practice every day. Picture yourself standing barefoot on a misty morning shoreline, waves lapping gently at your ankles, the sunrise painting the horizon in molten gold. Reality check. Life isn't always that poetic. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, drop your location and local time in the comments so we can cheer each other on from wherever we are. Now, open phone screen. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into today's journey together. You wake up, blink at the ceiling, and immediately your mind races. Deadlines, traffic, that argument you had yesterday. If only a better job, fatter bank account, or a perfect relationship could fix it all, right? Here's the surprising truth. Those external upgrades, where you live, what you earn, the status you carry, account for only about 10% of how happy you feel. We often overestimate what our circumstances can do for us, expecting new shoes or that dream vacation to deliver endless bliss. But research shows that once basic needs are met, food, safety, shelter, incremental upgrades barely move your happiness needle. Meanwhile, genetics determine roughly 50% of your baseline mood. Think of this as your happiness set point, wired into your personality long before you learn to tie your shoes. Some people wake up predisposed to sunnier dispositions, naturally inclined toward optimism. Others lean toward anxiety or low moods, thanks to genetic wiring. This isn't a life sentence, it's simply part of the equation you start with. The real game changer, about 40% of your happiness, is completely within your control. This chunk lives in the tiny, daily decisions you make, how you talk to yourself, the habits you embrace, the thoughts you nurture. It's here, in this happiness 40%, that the power lies. By cultivating intentional practices, you can shift your baseline upward, rewiring your mind to notice positivity even when life feels messy. Let's break that down. Imagine your happiness like a three-legged stool. One leg is genetics, another is circumstances, and the third is mindset and habits. If genetics give you a strong stool, circumstances add a modest cushion, and mindset determines whether that stool wobbles or stands rock steady. What you do each day, those small rituals of gratitude, in connection, mindfulness, serves as the inflation pump for the habits leg, making everything sturdier. So why do so many of us feel like we're strapped to the circumstances leg, waiting for someone else to hand us happiness? Because it's easier to blame the job, the relationship, or the weather when you're feeling down. It's less intimidating than admitting you might need to tweak your daily routine. But here's the upside. Unlike genetics or the economy, you can change your habits. You can train your brain. Every time you consciously choose a positive mental habit, you send electricity through a neural pathway in your brain, making it stronger and more likely to fire again. For instance, when you catch yourself dwelling on a problem and decide instead to focus on a small blessing, like the warmth of your morning coffee, you're literally strengthening the circuits for noticing the good. Over time, those circuits become the default, and your internal GPS recalibrates to steer you toward joy more often. Consider this experiment. For 1 week, jot down 3 things you're grateful for each evening. Maybe the barista who remembered your name, the text from a friend, the squeak of your dog's greeting, no matter how small. At first, it feels awkward, like fishing for compliments in your own head. But by day 3 or 4, your mind starts scanning the day for highlights. That shift in focus makes you feel lighter, more optimistic, even on a rough day. Contrast that with the scenario where you obsessively scroll through social media. Measuring your life against highlight reels? Every comparison is a one-way ticket to dissatisfaction, because someone else's curated moments can never compete with your messy or unfiltered reality. Those scrolling sessions activate the circumstances lag. If only I had their life, which, as we know, only contributes a fraction to your true happiness. Shifting mindset also means challenging unhelpful beliefs. Maybe you've internalized the idea that you're not a morning person, so you sabotage yourself with snooze buttons and negative self-talk. Flip the script. I'm learning to enjoy mornings. That reframing fosters a growth mindset, turning obstacles into experiments. Instead of, I can't, you ask, how can I? How can I make mornings pleasant? Could I prepare my coffee the night before? Could I spend 5 minutes stretching before I hop out of bed? Each question primes you for action rather than defeat. Let's talk strategy. You have 3 main levers to pull on that 40% leg. 1. Awareness. Begin by noticing your default mental loops. Are you quick to complain about traffic? Do you dwell on a mistake long after it's over? Awareness isn't about judgment. It's about observation. Think of yourself as a curious scientist studying your own mind. 2. Intention. Decide deliberately which thoughts and habits you want to strengthen. Maybe you choose gratitude, or self-compassion, or reframing setbacks as lessons. Pick one to start. Trying to overhaul everything at once is like trying to sprint a marathon. 3. Consistency. Habits form with repetition, but the more consistently you practice a new mental habit, daily journaling, mindful breathing, gratitude reminders, the more you wire it into your baseline. Eventually, these practices become so second nature that they require minimal conscious effort. You might wonder, isn't it phony to force positivity when I'm really stressed? Here's the nuance. We're not talking about toxic positivity, the kind that insists you ignore pain or pretend life is perfect. We're talking about creating mental space so you can hold both struggle and possibility at the same time. You can acknowledge the storm and still choose to notice a single ray of sunshine cutting through the clouds. For example, imagine you've had a brutal argument with a coworker. You're simmering in anger, replaying every word. A mindset shift might be, I'm upset and that's valid. What can I learn from this? How can I communicate better next time? You don't pretend the argument didn't happen. You simply reorient how you engage with it, transforming frustration into growth. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, backs this approach. Studies show that you can physically change brain structure through mental practice. Kindness meditations can increase gray matter in empathy-related regions. Gratitude journaling can enhance activity in areas associated with reward and social bonding. Translation: your brain is sculptable like clay, and your daily habits are the hands that shape it. Now, none of this means you'll wake up happy every single morning without exception. You're human, and life sometimes deals rotten cards. But here's the promise. By investing in your mindset, you raise your baseline. You become more resilient. So when tough times come, you rebound faster. Those external setbacks take longer to knock you off course because your internal ecosystem is stronger. In the coming sections, we'll unpack specific tools, gratitude, connection, small wins, movement with mindfulness, that all live in that 40% realm. You'll learn how to harvest small habits that compound into a happier you, no matter the storms outside. But always remember, you have agency. You can choose which neural pathways to reinforce. You can be an active architect of your own happiness. You settle back into your seat, eyes closing for a moment, and allow your mind to shift from the chasing after more mindset to something gentler: gratitude. Imagine a morning where instead of racing through your to-do list, you pause to notice the warmth of sunlight spilling across your desk, the aroma of your coffee swirling in the air, the unique melody of birds outside your window. That pause, that moment of simple appreciation, begins to rewire your brain toward what nourishes you rather than what's missing. Gratitude isn't about ignoring life's difficulties. It's about training your mind to see the whole landscape, not just the cracks. When you practice gratitude consistently, you strengthen neural pathways associated with positive emotion, making it easier to find joy even when circumstances are hard. Studies show that people who keep a gratitude journal experience better sleep, lower stress levels, and higher life satisfaction. Those aren't pie-in-the-sky outcomes. They're backed by research. And the best part? Gratitude practices take only a few minutes each day. So how do you harness this superpower? The cornerstone exercise is the 3-line gratitude journal. Mirror every evening before bed. Take out a piece of paper or your phone's notes app and jot down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand. In fact, the smaller and more specific, the better. Rather than saying, "I'm grateful for my family," you might write, "I'm grateful my partner made me coffee this morning, the way the sun painted orange stripes on our kitchen wall, and that I found a moment to laugh at a silly meme." When you write with that level of detail, you activate your brain's pattern recognition circuits. Your mind starts scanning the day for tiny moments that spark warmth. Over time, those circuits strengthen, and noticing those moments becomes automatic. You'll find yourself pirouetting through your day looking for small blessings, from a stranger's smile on the street to the softness of your bed at night. If journaling feels intimidating, there are alternative gratitude practices that still pack a punch. Gratitude walk. During a brief stroll, whether around the block or to your car, make a mental note of 3 things you appreciate. Feel the texture of the pavement under your shoes. Notice the breeze on your face or the geometry of tree branches overhead. Consciously name each blessing to yourself. I appreciate this gentle breeze. I appreciate this sturdy sidewalk. I appreciate this old oak tree. Verbal gratitude at lunch or dinner. Look at someone in the eyes and say, "I'm really grateful for you because..." It could be a coworker, family member, or friend. Expressing gratitude aloud increases oxytocin in both speaker and listener, reinforcing trust and connection. Gratitude jar. Keep a mason jar labeled gratitude. Whenever something good happens, a compliment, a productive meeting, a cute dog you saw, write it on a slip of paper and drop it in E. At the end of the month, open the jar and read all the notes. You'll marvel at how many positive moments you almost forgot. Each of these practices taps into the same principle, shifting your attention from scarcity, "What am I missing?" to abundance, "What's already here?" That shift doesn't make problems vanish, but it builds mental resilience. When adversity arrives, you won't feel like you've lost everything because you've been rehearsing the habit of noticing what remains good. Let's walk through a typical day infused with gratitude. You wake up to your alarm, feeling groggy and grumbling internally about the early hour. Instead of letting that groan spiral into grumpiness, you pause for 5 seconds. You're alive, breathing, and your lungs just filled with fresh air. That's item 1. You roll out of bed and catch sight of your favorite mug waiting on the counter. That's item 2. As you brush your teeth, you notice the clean scent of your toothpaste and the quiet hum of the bathroom fan. Item E3. Before you even get dressed, you've already logged a gratitude hat trick. Later, at work, A coworker helps you solve a tricky email formatting issue. You smile and mentally thank them, strengthening your appreciation circuit. During lunch, you catch the sunset peeking through the window and whisper a thank you under your breath. Then, snack alert, you realize you packed extra almonds. And that small bonus feels like a gift. Each moment you name and savor. You're planting seeds for future positivity. Come evening, you pull out your journal and write, 1. Grateful for the coworker who helped me, made my day smoother. 2. Grateful for this sweet sunset painting my office walls. 3. Grateful I remembered those extra almonds, little fuel boost. That tiny ritual seals the practice. Over weeks, you'll notice your baseline attitude brightening. You'll feel less reactive to stressors because your mind already has a cushion of positive experiences to lean on. A critical nuance: avoid comparing your gratitude list to someone else's. This isn't a competition. Your list is unique to your life's root system. If someone else's gratitude list seems more glamorous, grateful for my yacht, that's fine. You're strengthening your own terrain. And tiny stones of gratitude can become mountain ranges of joy over time. Now let's talk about the inner dialogue that often sabotages gratitude. You might think, I shouldn't feel grateful when I'm swamped with work. Or, it's silly to be thankful for almonds. Those thoughts stem from an unhelpful inner critic focused on perfection and deserving. The antidote is self-compassion. Acknowledge that it's human to feel overwhelmed, and then gently steer your mind toward balance. You can feel grateful and stressed simultaneously. The two aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, gratitude can be a bridge through stress, reminding you that the storm doesn't erase the shelter. To strengthen that bridge, consider gratitude affirmations. When you catch yourself in a negativity spiral, rubbing your temples over a looming deadline, pause and say aloud, I'm doing my best, and I'm grateful I have the capacity to learn and grow. Feel the words resonate in your chest. An affirmation like this combines self-kindness with gratitude, amplifying both compassion and positivity. Another powerful twist is gratitude for challenges. Yes, you can be grateful for the very things that frustrate you because they offer lessons. For example, I'm grateful for that tough client meeting because it taught me patience and better communication. That practice reframes obstacles as growth opportunities, blurring the line between gratitude and resilience. You may wonder, can gratitude ever backfire? If you force yourself into excessive positivity, it can feel disingenuous, leading to frustration or guilt if you can't muster genuine appreciation. So the golden rule is authenticity. Choose moments of genuine warmth, no matter how small. If you genuinely feel moved by a bird's song one morning, note it. Don't force a grand gesture if your heart isn't in it. As you deepen your gratitude practice, you might hit diminishing returns if you write the same things repeatedly. To avoid that, add variety and specificity. Instead of grateful for my health, zoom in. Grateful my knee didn't ache when I climbed those stairs today. Instead of regretful for my partner, try grateful for the hug my partner gave me after I shared my worries. Specificity not only keeps the practice fresh, but also strengthens neural encoding of positive details. Let's explore a mini gratitude challenge to supercharge your practice. Day 1 to 3, 3-line journal as you've learned. Day 4 to 6, write a gratitude letter to someone who impacted you, then send it or read it aloud. Day 7, reflect on the week. How did your outlook shift? Which ritual felt most resonant? By the end of the week, you'll have experienced multiple gratitude modalities: writing, speaking, reflecting, each reinforcing your brain's reward circuits in unique ways. If you're a visual person, try a gratitude collage. Collect photos, magazine cutouts, or your own snapshots of people, places, or things that uplift you. Arrange them on a board where you'll see them daily. Each glance triggers a micro-gratitude moment, reminding you of your abundance. For those who love numbers, there's the gratitude counter. Use your phone's step counter or a clicker. Every time you consciously note something you're grateful for, click the counter. Aim for 10 clicks a day. You'll be amazed at how many blessings you discover when your focus turns intentional. There's also a communal twist. Start a gratitude group chat with friends or family. Each day, one person shares one thing they're grateful for, then tags the next person to go. Watching the feed of gratitude flow through your social circle and amplifies connection and collective positivity. Ultimately, gratitude is about shifting your internal spotlight. Most of us default to scanning for threats, tasks undone, problems looming, fluctuations in the market. That bias toward negativity served our ancestors well, keeping them safe from predators. But in modern life, that hypervigilance often leaves us anxious and dissatisfied. Gratitude retrains that spotlight. You're not ignoring the dangers or stressors. You're simply choosing where to focus the lens when you're not in immediate crisis. With practice, you build a mental reflex. Stress arises. You breathe. You notice one good thing. You proceed. That pause changes everything. As you weave gratitude into your daily life, watch for these signs of progress. Mood stability. Your highs may not skyrocket, but your lows won't dip as deeply. Better sleep. Studies link gratitude journaling to fewer nighttime ruminations and deeper rest. Improved relationships. Expressing appreciation strengthens bonds, making interactions smoother and more rewarding. Increased resilience. You'll notice yourself bouncing back faster from setbacks, buoyed by recollections of good experiences. Gratitude is not a quick fix. It's a keystone habit, or when you install it. Other positive habits, exercise, social connection, learning, often follow naturally because your brain is primed to look for what goes right. So today, choose one gratitude ritual to begin. Maybe you'll journal those 3 lines before bed. Or perhaps you'll text a thank you message to someone who helped you recently. Or you'll take that gratitude walk and marvel at wildflowers pushing through cracks in the pavement. Remember, your brain is sculpted by your attention. The more you point it toward appreciation, the more your default wiring shifts from what's wrong to what's wonderful. And that shift, small but mighty, becomes the bedrock of day-to-day happiness, equipping you to navigate life's inevitable storms with steadier footing. You lean back and feel the subtle pull of human connection. Think of the last time you shared a genuine laugh with someone, where time seemed to stretch and contract in perfect harmony. That feeling, warm, expansive, effortless, comes from oxytocin, the neurochemical often called the love hormone. It surges when you hug a friend, laugh with loved ones, or even when you pet a dog. Oxytocin isn't some fairy dust emotion. It's a biological force that cements bonds and elevates your sense of belonging. Today, you'll learn not only why those bonds matter so deeply for your happiness, but also how to nurture them, even when life feels busy, distant, or hard. First, let's clarify why social connection matters. Humans evolved in tribes and communities. Survival depended on cooperation, mutual support, and shared resources. Our ancestors who bonded well were more likely to thrive, to share food, warn of predators, and care for one another's children. That evolutionary blueprint remains encoded in your DNA. When you connect with others, your brain signals safety, cortisol levels drop, heart rate variability improves, and your immune response increases. Simply put, you flourish in company. In modern life, however, superficial connections can feel like quicksand. A dozen friends on social media means little if you've never heard their voices or shared a real smile. Studies show that people with strong in-person social ties live longer, report higher life satisfaction, and even have lower rates of depression. Connection isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. So how do you cultivate deeper bonds, especially when your schedule is jam-packed or you've moved to a new city? It begins with intention. Just as you schedule work meetings or workouts, you need to schedule connection rituals. Let's start with 3 foundational pillars. 1. Quality time. Prioritize face-to-face or video interactions whenever possible. A 15-minute walk and talk is more potent than an hour of texting because you engage multiple senses, tone of voice, facial expressions, body language. That multisensory input triggers stronger oxytocin release than digital messages alone. Practical step. Block out 2 30-minute slots each week labeled connection time. Treat them like non-negotiable appointments. Invite a friend, family member, or mentor to join you for coffee, a walk, or even a shared online activity like a cooking live stream. Micro-connection. If time is tight, aim for brief but meaningful interactions. A quick phone call while washing dishes, a 5-minute hallway chat with a coworker, a hug and genuine "How are you?" before you part ways. Tori, active listening connection deepens when you fully inhabit the moment with someone else. That means silencing your inner dialogue. No mental to-do list, no rehearsed responses, and giving your full attention. Active listening conveys respect and empathy, which in turn strengthens trust and safety. Practical step. The next time you talk with someone, practice the pause method. O. Pause your own thoughts. O. Ask clarifying questions. O. Understand their feelings. O. Summarize what you heard. O. Empathize genuinely. For example, if a friend says, "I've been stressed about this project," you might respond, "It sounds like the deadline is weighing on you. What's the biggest challenge right now?" That invitation to share more signals, "I'm here for you," which releases oxytocin and deepens the bond. And 3. Shared rituals. Shared activities create anchor points for your relationships, moments you both look forward to. Rituals can be as simple as Tuesday night text check-ins or monthly book swaps. The predictability combined with shared experience builds a sense of we, reinforcing belonging. Practical step. Identify one existing routine you enjoy and invite someone to join. If you love morning yoga, propose a weekly session with a friend. If you binge true crime podcasts on Fridays, send a watch party link and discuss afterward. Imagine this: you and a college buddy commit to a Sunday dinner tradition, whether in person or via Zoom. Over time, those dinners become sacred, an emotional sanctuary where both of you feel seen and supported. That sense of safe haven boosts well-being. Beyond these pillars, certain habits accelerate oxytocin and strengthen connections. Every day, spend 5 minutes with someone. No multitasking. Maybe it's your spouse over breakfast, a phone call to a long-distance friend, or a cuddle with your pet. During those 5 minutes, 1. Make eye contact or imagine it if it's virtual. Nurse 2. Offer a genuine compliment. "I love hearing how passionate you are about your art." Candor 3. Share one personal insight. "I've been feeling a bit anxious about next week. How do you cope?" Or invite their perspective. What helps you reset after a stressful day? Even brief, honest exchanges like this flood your brain with oxytocin and create micro moments of safety and belonging. In an era of memes and emojis, you can still cultivate depth online. video messages over GIFs. Send a short video clip saying, "Hey, I saw this on my run and thought of you." The nuances of your tone and facial expression convey sincerity. Voice notes. They take seconds to record, but deliver layers of emotion text cannot. Virtual co-working sessions. Use tools like Zoom or Discord to work silently together. Knowing someone else is there, even without speaking, reduces isolation and heightens accountability. Acts of kindness bond people. When you help someone without expectation of return, you engage a core human need, a reciprocity. Service fosters gratitude in both giver and receiver, reinforcing mutual trust and elevating mood. Practical step. Once a month, choose a small service activity. Buy coffee for the person behind you in line. Offer to proofread a friend's resume. Help a neighbor carry groceries. Notice the subtle warmth you feel when you give and when the recipient smiles or thanks you. That warmth cements connection networks across your community. Humans aren't the only sources of oxytocin. Stroking a dog or cat triggers a cascade of positive neurochemicals. Spending time with animals or even tending to plants can simulate connection. Practical step. If you have a pet, carve out 5 undistracted minutes for pet play or grooming. If you don't, consider volunteering at a local animal shelter or adopting a low-maintenance plant. The act of nurturing fosters empathy and a sense of companionship. If you're new to a place or feel socially drained, building connections can feel daunting. Start small. 1. Join interest groups. Whether it's a book club, a hiking meetup, or an online forum for gardeners, shared passions create instant common ground. 2. Volunteer. Contributing to community causes surrounds you with people who care about similar issues. Collaboration on a shared goal forges strong bonds. And there is 3. Take classes or workshops. Learning together breaks the ice and gives you natural topics for conversation. Approach these new settings with curiosity rather than pressure. Your goal isn't to network in the corporate sense, but to discover fellow humans whose company you genuinely enjoy. Ironically, conflict can deepen relationships if navigated skillfully. When disagreements arise, they offer a chance to practice communication skills, empathy, and forgiveness, core ingredients of robust bonds. Practical step. Embrace the repair ritual. After a conflict, schedule a brief check-in. Mendine, acknowledge the hurt. I realize my comment yesterday upset you. Taru. Express regret. I'm sorry I spoke without thinking. Maybe 3, invite a solution. How can we avoid this next time? Maybe 4, reaffirm, care. I value you and our friendship. That repair seals cracks and releases oxytocin, reinforcing trust that withstands future storms. Physical touch, when appropriate and consensual, is a potent catalyst for oxytocin. Hugs lasting at least 20 seconds, high fives, pats on the back, handshakes that linger ever so slightly, all contribute to bonding. If you're comfortable, use touch mindfully to convey warmth and support. Practical step. Next time you greet someone you care about, hold the hug a beat longer. Notice the difference in how you both feel. True connection doesn't end when the conversation does. It's a mindset you carry. Express daily appreciation. Send a thinking of you text midday. Keep a connection list. Jot down 3 people you haven't spoken to recently, but wanted to check in with. Schedule reminders. Mentor or be mentored. Teaching or learning from someone deepens mutual respect and empathy. By treating connection as an ongoing practice, you create a rich tapestry of support, meaning, and joy. Imagine this. You're navigating a tough week at work, feeling overwhelmed. You glance at your calendar and see Walk with Lisa, Wednesday 6 p.m. Suddenly, stress feels more manageable because you know you have a safe harbor ahead. Wednesday evening, you share frustrations and laughter, breathing fresh perspective into your week. That simple commitment transforms your landscape from isolated struggle to shared resilience. In addition, let's not overlook family of origin connections. Even imperfect relationships with parents or siblings shape your sense of belonging. Consider writing them a letter, whether you sent it or not, to articulate your feelings. That clarity often uncovers hidden bonds or brings peaceful closure. Finally, remember that forging deep connections starts with connecting to yourself. Self-awareness and self-compassion prepare you to show up authentically for others. When you treat your own needs with kindness, taking breaks, honoring boundaries, you model healthy behavior in relationships. And exhausted, resentful, you cannot sustain deep bonds any more than a plant starved of water can thrive. In sum, happiness is woven through the fabric of connection. Each intentional conversation, shared ritual, or genuine gesture spins a thread of oxytocin-laced trust and belonging. By prioritizing quality time, practicing active listening, embracing shared rituals, and extending kindness, you catalyze the neurochemical foundations of joy. Equally, by tending to animals or plants, and approaching conflict with repair rituals, you build relationships that stand strong in storms. So, take a moment now. Reach out to someone you care about. Send a "Hey, I was thinking of you" message. Schedule that long overdue call. Or simply pause in your day to share a genuine smile with a stranger. Each connection you foster is an investment in your well-being, creating a ripple effect of warmth and resilience that benefits everyone in your circle. You open your journal and see a lonely checkmark staring back at you. One item crossed off yesterday's to-do list. You might be tempted to gloss over it, calling it insignificant. But that tiny checkmark is a victory worth celebrating. Every small win, finishing a report, resisting the snooze button, brewing a decent cup of coffee, sparks a flicker of accomplishment in your brain. When you pause to acknowledge it, that flicker becomes a flame, fueling motivation for the next task. This section isn't about chasing grand achievements. It's about harvesting the momentum hidden in everyday moments and using it to build a habit of sustained joy. First, let's explore why celebrating small wins matters. Your brain operates on a reward system driven by dopamine, the neurotransmitter that signals pleasure and reinforces behavior. Big accomplishments, landing a promotion, buying a house, trigger dopamine surges, but they're rare. If you only celebrate those peaks, you're left adrift most days, waiting for the next mountaintop. By contrast, small wins happen constantly. Completing a 5-minute stretch session, replying promptly to an email, or even simply getting out of bed on time are all opportunities for tiny dopamine boosts. Over time, those micro rewards wire your brain for positivity and persistence. Imagine your motivation as a gas tank. Big wins are like fueling stations, exciting but far apart. Small wins are gas stations on every corner. If you refuel regularly, you never run out of energy. Celebration is the nozzle that pumps fuel. Without celebration, you drive past those small stations, letting them go unused. So how do you cultivate this practice? The first step is tracking. You need a reliable way to capture your small wins as they occur. Here are 3 tracking methods. 1. The win list. Keep a running list, digital or paper, where you jot down every accomplishment, no matter how trivial. Use bullet points, timestamps, or even emojis to mark each win. Review this list at the end of the day and circle or highlight your top 3. 2. Habit tracker. Use a simple habit tracking app or a wall calendar. Whenever you complete a desired action, place a big X. That visual pattern of X's builds momentum. Seeing a chain of successes compels you not to break the streak. In a Dear, voice memo wins. Record brief audio notes throughout the day. Finished client draft. Took a 10-minute walk. Said no to extra work I didn't have time for. Later, play back the memos and savor each victory as if it were news. Whichever method you choose, make tracking immediate. The closer the celebration is to the event, the stronger the dopamine association. Next comes celebration itself. Celebration can be internal or external, private or shared. The goal is to amplify the feeling of accomplishment. Consider these celebration rituals. Micro rewards. Link each win to a tiny reward, an extra sip of your favorite tea, a 5-minute social media break, a quick dance to a favorite song. The key is to choose a reward that feels pleasurable but doesn't derail your productivity or well-being. Victory ritual. Create a brief physical gesture for each accomplishment. A fist pump, a self-high five in the mirror, a triumphant "heck yes" whispered out loud. These gestures anchor the feeling in your body and mind. Share the win. Tell a friend, partner, or coworker about your small victory. Their acknowledgement releases oxytocin and reinforces the achievement, even if they simply reply, "Nice job," and that affirmation compounds your sense of success. Reflective pause. After tracking a win, take a 30-second mindful pause. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and mentally replay the moment of accomplishment. Feel your chest expand, your smile spread, your energy surge. This pause cements the experience in your memory. Now, let's structure a daily win review that you can integrate into your evening routine. And 1. Gather your tracking entries. 2. Select your top 3 wins. Choose those that felt most meaningful or challenging. 3. Celebrate each with a micro reward and a brief pause. 4. Journal one sentence about what you learned or how it felt. 5. Set an intention for tomorrow based on these wins. For example, I'll build on today's focus by finishing the project outline first thing. This review takes only 5 minutes, but delivers lasting uplift. You close your day acknowledging what you accomplished, not just what remains undone. But what about days when wins feel scarce? Even on tough days, you can find small victories if you widen your lens. Perhaps getting out of bed felt heroic? Maybe you resisted scrolling through bad news or reached out for help when overwhelmed. Those deserve celebration just as much as more conventional wins. Shifting your expectation from achievement or success to effort makes success broadens the spectrum of what counts. To train this broadened perspective, try the Micro Win Challenge. For 3 days, list 5 micro wins per day. Aim for variety. Mix physical actions, hydrated all morning. Mental shifts, paused before reacting. And social moves, sent a thoughtful message. At the week's end, review your lists and identify patterns of strength. These reveal your core competencies. Over time, you'll notice hidden skills, patience, self-control, kindness, that you rarely recognized before. Now, let's consider the psychology behind why celebrating small wins boosts both happiness and productivity. According to Progress Principle research, the single most powerful motivator in work and life is making progress, no matter how small. When you record and celebrate that progress, you fuel intrinsic motivation, creativity, and resilience. Teams that celebrate micro-achievements outperform those that focus only on big milestones because the energy of small successes compounds. In personal life, the same holds true. When you track and celebrate small steps toward health, relationships, learning, or creative projects. You build a foundation of self-efficacy, the belief that you can influence outcomes. Self-efficacy then propels you to tackle bigger challenges, fueling long-term growth. Here's a case study. Imagine you're writing a book and you aim to finish 1,000 words per day. Some days, life interrupts, but you could celebrate finishing even 200 words on a busy day. That celebration preserves momentum. Over time, your average output increases because you're reinforcing the habit of writing rather than punishing yourself for falling short of an arbitrary target. Yet, pitfalls exist. Comparison traps can sabotage small win celebrations. If you see someone else achieving more, you might dismiss your own progress. To counter this, maintain a personal progress journal that's private and focused solely on your journey. Avoid checking others' metrics. Instead, benchmark against your own previous performance. Another trap is over-rewarding, where celebrations become excuses for indulgence, like a triumphant victory lunch that turns into project derailment. Keep rewards modest and aligned with your values. If health is a priority, your micro-reward might be 5 minutes of stretching, not a supersized latte. Let's explore family-style celebrations. If you live with loved ones, invite them into your small win culture. Place a victory board on the fridge where everyone can post their wins on sticky notes. Each evening, glance at the board and celebrate as a household. This communal recognition builds shared positivity and encourages collective resilience. Workplaces can adopt similar rituals. Start meetings by asking each team member to share one small win since the last meeting. That 60-second win round fosters gratitude, reinforces collaboration, and primes the group for problem solving. Now, consider long-term goals. If you're training for a marathon or learning a new language, it's tempting to focus only on race day or fluency certification. But if you don't celebrate incremental milestones, first 5K run, first conversation in the language, you risk burnout and discouragement. Instead, plot checkpoints at 10%, 25%, 50% progress marks. Celebrate each with a symbolic gesture, a medal on your wall, a recorded audio clip praising your own efforts, or a small gift that aligns with your journey. One powerful tool here is the progress thermometer. Draw a vertical thermometer on paper or digitally. Shade in the portion that represents your progress percentage. Every time you make progress, color in the corresponding segment and add a celebratory sticker or doodle. This visual reinforces both progress and joy. What about emergencies? Days when everything goes wrong? You can still find a small win. Maybe you asked for an extension instead of struggling alone. Maybe you took a break before snapping at someone. Celebrate that choice to protect your well-being. Recognizing emotional wins, like choosing self-care over self-criticism, is critical. Let's weave in a mindful celebration. After a win, engage your senses. Close your eyes and notice how your body feels. Warmth in your chest, lightness in your limbs. Listen to the echo of your own quiet yes, or smile at the memory on your lips. This sensory anchoring deepens neural encoding of the victory. Another layer, celebrating failures as partial wins. When a project falls short, you still gained data, learned new skills, and practiced perseverance. Gratitude for what you learned transforms failure into a stepping stone. Document those lessons alongside your wins for a robust progress portfolio. To integrate this practice seamlessly, implement an hourly win check for one day. At the top of each hour, pause and ask, what did I accomplish in the last 60 minutes? Even if the answer is, I took 3 deep breaths, you record it. By the end of the day, you'll have dozens of wins, each reinforcing your sense of agency. This practice bursts the illusion that you're not doing enough, and instead reveals the tapestry of your productivity and resilience. Finally, consider the emotional ripple effect of celebrating small wins. When you acknowledge yourself, you invite others to do the same. Your positive energy becomes contagious. Colleagues notice your buoyancy and might ask, "What's going so well?" which sparks conversations that uplift the entire team. At home, children observing you celebrating wins learn that effort and progress are worthy of acknowledgement, nurturing a growth mindset in the next generation. In closing, celebrating small victories transforms your relationship with progress. Instead of waiting for grand achievements, you become fluent in the language of micro-success. Each check mark, each fist pump, each journal entry sends a clear message to your brain. This matters. Over days, weeks, and months, that message rewires your neural circuitry to expect and create success, making happiness an active practice rather than a distant goal. You push back from your desk, stand up, and stretch your arms overhead, noticing the subtle crack of your spine releasing tension. Movement isn't just about burning calories or training for an event. It's about reigniting the flow of energy through your body and mind. When you move, you activate endorphins, the brain's natural feel-good chemicals, while mindfulness anchors you in the present moment, giving your mind a break from ruminations. In this section, you'll learn to weave brief, intentional movement and mindfulness practices into your day, creating an inner calm meets outer vitality routine that sustains happiness, even when life feels chaotic. First, let's look at why combining movement and mindfulness works. Movement alone boosts mood by triggering endorphin release, reducing cortisol, and improving blood flow and oxygenation. Mindfulness alone reduces stress by training your brain to observe thoughts and sensations without judgment, enhancing your parasympathetic, your rest and digest, response together. They form a powerful duo. Movement primes your body for vitality, and mindfulness primes your mind for clarity. By integrating the two, you create a holistic reset that can dissipate anxiety, increase focus, and elevate joy. Imagine a simple mindful movement routine you can do anywhere. Step 1. Seated shoulder rolls with the breath of sit or stand tall. Inhale as you lift your shoulders toward your ears. Exhale as you roll them back and down. O-A-O, repeat for 8 counts. Synchronizing movement with breath. Do-o, mindful cue. As you roll, notice the sensation of muscles releasing, the air flowing in and out, and any shifts in tension. Nitsutu, standing hip hinges a place, hands on hips, feet hip distance apart. On an inhale, tilt your pelvis forward. On an exhale, hinge at the hips to lean forward gently, keeping a neutral spine. O, inhale to return upright. Repeat for 10 reps. O, mindful cue. Feel this stretch in your hamstrings, the gentle engagement of your core, and the grounding of your feet against the floor. 3. Neck stretches a lower chin to chest on an exhale. Then gently roll right ear toward right shoulder on the next exhale. Pause, then switch sides. O, move slowly, spending at least 4 breaths on each position. O, mindful cue. Notice any tightness in your neck and shoulders. Breathe into those areas, inviting softening. These micro movements can be done in under 5 minutes, yet leave you noticeably more alert, relaxed, and present. But movement doesn't have to be segmented into exercises. It can be woven into daily tasks. Mindful walking. Whether pacing your living room or strolling to the coffee machine, focus on the sensation of your feet contacting the ground, the rhythm of your steps, and the environment around you. sights, sounds, smells. If your mind drifts, gently bring it back to the movement and breath. Desk stretches. Set a timer every hour as a reminder to stand and stretch. Reach your arms overhead. Interlace fingers and side bend, or twist your torso gently. Use these stretches as brief resets that interrupt prolonged sitting, improve circulation, and induce a mental refresher. Dance breaks. Create a 3-minute playlist of songs that make you want to move. Once or twice a day, hit play and dance like no one's watching. Dancing elevates mood through both endorphins and the playful mindset it encourages. To deepen the mind-body connection, synchronize your movement with a breath-based anchor. Box breathing squats. Inhale for a count of 4 as you squat down. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4 as you stand. Hold again for 4. Perform 6 cycles. This technique blends the calming effect of breathwork with the strengthening benefits of bodyweight exercise. Calming calf raises with mantra. As you lift into your toes, mentally say, "I am strong." As you lower, say, "I am grounded." Repeat 10 times. The mantra embeds positive language. While the calf raises improve circulation and balance, let's walk through a 10-minute movement plus mindfulness flow. 1. Minute 0, 2. Seated or standing. Deep breathing. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6 to calm your nervous system. 2. Minute 2 to 4. Gentle neck and shoulder rolls, syncing each motion with your breath. Favorite 3-minute finger to 6. Hip hinges and hamstring stretches, moving slowly and noticing how your body feels. 4. Minute 6 and under 8. Mindful walking in place or around the room. Pay attention to each footfall. 5. Minute number 8 and 10. Conclude with standing quad stretch. Hold each side for 30 seconds while focusing on the stretch sensation and gratitude for your body's strength. This flow can be done anytime. First thing in the morning to kickstart your day, mid-afternoon to counter the slump, or evening to unwind. You're not chasing perfection. You're offering your body and mind consistent moments of connection and care. Now, let's address common barriers. I don't have time. Everyone has 10 minutes. Treat it like a meeting with yourself, non-negotiable. Block it on your calendar or set a reminder on your phone. I'm not flexible, athletic. These routines are scalable. Perform fewer reps, anchor on a chair, or reduce range of motion. The goal is mindful movement, not performance. I feel silly. Movement with mindfulness taps into playfulness. Remind yourself that self-care isn't vanity. It's a vital ingredient for productivity, mood regulation, and resilience. To sustain the habit, use habit stacking. Attach the practice to an existing routine. For example, after brewing your morning coffee, do the seated shoulder rolls. After lunch, take 2 minutes for mindful walking. Before bedtime, perform the mindful squat breath exercise. Over weeks, these mini routines become automatic, integrated into your daily rhythm. Your brain learns to expect the reset, and dopamine from small wins reinforces consistency. In addition to movement, consider mindful micropauses throughout your day. Sound pause. Pause for 10 seconds. Close your eyes and focus on ambient sounds. Keyboard clicks, distant traffic, bird song. Taste. Pause when eating or drinking. Chew slowly and notice flavors, textures, temperatures. Touch pause. Rub your hands together briefly. Feel the warmth. Then place them gently over your heart or belly, noticing the rise and fall of your breath. These micropauses don't count as exercise, but they cultivate mindfulness and reset stress. Combined with movement, they create a daily tapestry of mind-body care. For deeper practice, explore mindful movement disciplines: yoga, Begin with a 5-minute sun salutation sequence, focusing on breath-synchronized flow. Tai Chi. Learn a few sun greeting movements or basic forms via online tutorials, practicing gentle, continuous motion. Qigong. Incorporate simple energy cultivating exercises like opening and closing your hands with slow, deliberate intention. Even one pose or movement performed mindfully can ripple through your mood and cognition, increasing focus, reducing anxiety, and boosting emotional stability. Remember to track your progress here too. Note how you feel before and after each movement practice. Perhaps you use a simple scale, 1 to 5, for stress level or mood rating. Over time, you'll observe tangible improvements, reinforcing your commitment. Finally, anchor your movement Plum mindfulness habit with an accountability buddy. Partner with a friend or colleague to check in daily. Did you move mindfully today? A quick text or call keeps you both honest and motivated. By integrating movement and mindfulness into micro-practices, seated stretches, mindful walking, brief flows, sound and taste pauses, you transform pockets of time into catalyzers of happiness. These intentional interludes clear mental fog, dissolve tension, and flood your system with positive neurochemistry, equipping you to face life's demands with calm energy and presence. You've made it this far. Congratulations. Now, it's time to talk about the magic that happens when you shift your perspective. Often, we find ourselves stuck in our thoughts, rehashing the past or worrying about the future. We can easily get caught up in the chaos of life, overwhelmed by what's wrong, what's missing, or what's uncertain. But perspective is the lens through which we see the world. And sometimes, all it takes is a small shift in that lens to make a huge difference in how we experience life. Perspective isn't just a mindset, it's a superpower. Think about it. You could be facing the same challenge, yet two people might react entirely differently. One person might feel defeated, while the other sees the opportunity for growth. That difference? It comes down to how each person chooses to perceive the situation. In this section, we'll explore how you can consciously shift your perspective to foster resilience, increase happiness, and build a sense of empowerment. Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic. Most people would immediately feel frustrated, tapping their steering wheel, checking the time, and grumbling under their breath. But instead of sinking into irritation, you pause for a second. You take a deep breath and choose to reframe the situation. Okay, this isn't ideal, but it's a moment of stillness in an otherwise busy day. Maybe I can listen to an audiobook, think about my goals, or even just breathe deeply for a few minutes. The situation hasn't changed, but your experience of it has. You've chosen to view the traffic jam not as a hindrance, but as an opportunity for relaxation or personal growth. This is the essence of perspective shifting. It's not about denying the tough moments, but about choosing how to engage with them. When you reframe a situation, you choose to look at it from a different angle, one that empowers you instead of discourages you. Let's break down how you can start practicing this superpower. And 1. Reframe negative thoughts. The first step is awareness. Pay attention to the negative thoughts that pop up throughout the day. When you catch yourself thinking, "This is impossible," or "I can't handle this," take a moment to reframe it. Ask yourself, what's a more empowering way to think about this? For example, instead of "This is impossible," try, "This is challenging, but I've overcome challenges before, and I'll find a way through this too." Reframing opens up space for more productive, positive thoughts. 2. Ask empowering questions. When challenges arise, our default question is often, Why is this happening to me? This question focuses on the problem and keeps you stuck in victim mode. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or, how can I grow through this experience? These questions prompt you to see the situation as an opportunity for learning and personal development. They shift your focus from frustration to empowerment, allowing you to take control of the narrative and move forward with intention. 3. Embrace the growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that you can develop your abilities through effort, learning, and perseverance. When you have a growth mindset, setbacks are seen as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than signs of failure. For instance, imagine you're working on a new project and things don't go as planned. Instead of thinking, I failed at this, you could shift your perspective to, what can I learn from this situation that will help me improve next time? This approach empowers you to keep going, knowing that every mistake is a stepping stone toward mastery. 4. Practice gratitude for challenges. This might sound counterintuitive, but learning to be grateful for challenges can radically shift your perspective. When life throws curveballs, instead of focusing on the frustration, pause and ask yourself, what can this challenge teach me? Embrace the discomfort, knowing that it's part of the growth process. The more you practice this, the more resilient you become. You train yourself to see setbacks as opportunities for expansion, not limitations. Let's practice with a simple exercise. Think of a recent challenge, something that didn't go as planned or caused you stress. Now, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Reflect on this experience, but from a place of curiosity. What did I learn from this? What strengths did I tap into? How can I use this lesson to improve going forward? By actively reframing the situation in this way, you're shifting from a mindset of defeat to one of growth and opportunity. 5. Reinterpret your story. Often, we create narratives about our lives, stories that define us. Maybe you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, or I always mess things up. But remember, these stories are just that, stories. They're not truths. What if you could rewrite your narrative? Instead of defining yourself by your mistakes, start defining yourself by your resilience, your capacity for learning, and your ability to move forward despite obstacles. You get to be the author of your own story. When you reframe your past, it empowers you to create a future that aligns with your highest potential. For example, if you've struggled with a career change, rather than saying, I failed at my last job, shift the story to, that job taught me invaluable lessons about what I want and don't want in my career, and it's helping me move toward my true purpose. This reframing shifts your story from a place of regret to one of self-compassion and growth. 6. Practice perspective taking. When you feel yourself becoming frustrated with someone, practice perspective taking. Instead of focusing on what they did wrong, try to step into their shoes. What might they be going through? What factors might be influencing their behavior? This doesn't mean excusing poor behavior, but it helps to humanize the situation and take some of the emotional charge out of the conflict. When you practice perspective taking, you build empathy, reduce judgment, and find more peaceful ways to interact with others. 7. Use visualization. One of the most powerful tools for shifting your perspective is visualization. When faced with a challenge, take a moment to visualize yourself overcoming it. Picture the steps you'll take, the emotions you'll experience, and the sense of pride and accomplishment you'll feel when you succeed. This simple act of visualizing success helps reframe the situation in a positive light, reducing anxiety and increasing your belief in your ability to succeed. Now, imagine this scenario. You've been passed over for a promotion at work. You could let this setback knock you down, but instead, you choose to shift your perspective. Okay, this is disappointing, but what can I learn from this? What skills do I need to develop? How can I improve my performance for next time? Suddenly, instead of feeling defeated, you feel empowered. You realize this setback is just one moment in a much larger journey, and you have the ability to keep learning and growing. Let's take a closer look at how this works in real life. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe a relationship didn't work out. A goal fell through, or something didn't go the way you hoped. Now, think about what you learned from that experience. Did it teach you to be more patient? Did it help you realize what you truly value? Did it give you a deeper sense of resilience? Perspective shifts aren't about pretending everything is perfect. They're about choosing how you see things and reframing challenges as opportunities. When you change your mindset, you change your experience of the world. And that shift is incredibly powerful. In essence, perspective is a practice, a daily choice to interpret life's challenges in a way that supports growth and positivity. By mastering the art of shifting your perspective, you equip yourself with the mental tools to handle whatever life throws your way, transforming every challenge into a stepping stone toward greater happiness. You sit quietly for a moment, taking in the simplicity of the present. Often, we rush through life, pushing from one goal to the next, never fully pausing to enjoy the ride. In our pursuit of happiness, we sometimes forget to ask a simple question: what truly matters to me? The answer to that question is the foundation of purpose and meaning, two of the most powerful drivers of lasting happiness. In this section, we'll explore how cultivating purpose and meaning in your life can create a deeper sense of fulfillment, one that is not dependent on external circumstances or fleeting moments of joy, but on the clarity of what is most important to you. So, let's dive in. You might already be familiar with the feeling of having something bigger guiding you, whether it's your work, your family, your passions, or a cause you care about. That sense of direction is what we call purpose. Purpose is like a compass that helps you navigate life, giving you something to aim for, something to drive toward. But purpose is not always about grand, world-changing missions. It can be something small, something deeply personal, something that fills you with meaning every single day. But how do you find your purpose? What happens when you don't know what your purpose is, or when you feel lost? Finding your purpose begins with self-reflection. You need to ask yourself questions like, what brings me joy? What activities make me lose track of time? When do I feel most alive? These questions lead to deeper insights about your core values, your passions, and the unique contributions you want to make to the world. Purpose isn't always something you discover overnight. It can evolve over time, shaped by new experiences, people, and challenges. The key is to stay open to the process of discovery. It's less about finding one singular or perfect purpose, and more about embracing the unfolding of your life as you explore what brings meaning and fulfillment. Now consider this. When was the last time you felt truly energized? That burst of energy likely came from something you care about deeply, whether it's spending time with family, working on a personal project, or helping someone in need. That's a clue about what truly matters to you. Your purpose, then, can be seen as a collection of those moments, rather than a single destination. Once you have some clarity about what your purpose is, the next step is alignment, making sure your daily actions, thoughts, and decisions reflect your purpose. This alignment creates a sense of integrity and authenticity that contributes significantly to your happiness. Let's say one of your core values is creativity. If your current job doesn't allow you to express that creativity, you might feel unfulfilled, regardless of how successful that job seems. On the other hand, if you carve out time for creative pursuits, even if it's just an hour a week, you start to align your life with what matters to you. You bring meaning to your day, and that sense of purpose, however small, adds depth to your happiness. Here's an exercise for aligning your actions with your purpose. 1. Write down your top 3 core values. For example, creativity, connection, health. 2. List 1 action you can take today that reflects each value. For creativity, it could be painting or writing. For connection, it might be calling a friend. Key. For health, it could be a walk outside. 3. Take those actions and notice how they make you feel. Do they bring you satisfaction, peace, or joy? Celebrate that feeling, knowing you've made progress toward living a more purposeful life. Purpose is the why of life, but meaning is the how. How you find significance in the things you do. Meaning is about connecting the dots between what you value and the world around you. It's finding a deep sense of fulfillment in everyday actions, no matter how mundane they may seem. For example, cooking a meal might seem like a routine task, but when you approach it as an act of love and care for those you serve, it becomes meaningful. Similarly, work that feels small or unnoticed can become meaningful when you connect it to a bigger picture, whether that's supporting your family or contributing to a community cause. Meaning often comes from the stories we tell ourselves about our lives. It's how we interpret our experiences and find purpose in the challenges we face. Consider difficult moments in your life. Can you reframe them as opportunities for growth, lessons learned, or acts of resilience? That reframing process turns hardship into meaning, and meaning fuels happiness. One of the most profound ways to cultivate purpose and meaning is by contributing to something bigger than yourself. This doesn't mean you need to save the world. It could be something as simple as helping a neighbor, mentoring someone at work, or volunteering for a cause you care about. Contribution creates a sense of interdependence and connectedness. And this, in turn, feeds your own sense of purpose. When you make a positive impact on others, you not only contribute to their happiness, but you also create a sense of belonging and value for yourself. Contributions, big and small, ripple out to the community around you, creating a network of meaning that supports everyone involved. Start by identifying a cause that resonates with you. If you're passionate about the environment, perhaps it's joining a local cleanup event. If mental health is your focus, you might support a campaign or volunteer at a support center. Whatever it is, know that contributing to something meaningful enhances your own sense of purpose. Numerous studies have shown that having a sense of purpose is strongly correlated with improved well-being. People who have a clear sense of purpose experience lower rates of depression, anxiety, and stress. They are more resilient in the face of challenges and generally report higher life satisfaction. In fact, research suggests that having a sense of purpose can even extend your life. When your actions are aligned with a clear purpose, you move through the world with confidence and clarity. Your choices become easier because you have a guiding principle to help you decide what matters most. This, in turn, reduces internal conflict and creates space for happiness. Here's a beautiful truth. Purpose doesn't always have to come from monumental moments. Sometimes, the most meaningful aspects of life are woven into the ordinary. It's in the quiet moments, caring for a loved one, creating a piece of art, or simply showing up for a friend in need, that purpose reveals itself. In fact, Research has shown that people who find meaning in everyday activities, whether through work, relationship, and/or personal hobbies, experience a more lasting sense of fulfillment than those who wait for big, life-changing events to give their lives purpose. It's not about waiting for the big break. It's about finding richness in the small things and using those small moments to connect with your deeper values. Purpose isn't static. It evolves as you grow. It's important to recognize that your purpose today may look different than it did 5 years ago. And that's okay. Embrace the fluidity of purpose. It's about following the call of your values and passions, even as they shift. The more you stay connected to your inner compass, the clearer your path will be. Here's an exercise to help you stay in tune with your purpose. Hatch 1. Reflect on where you are right now. What activities bring you joy, energy, or satisfaction? Now, point 2, think about what you want to be doing in the next 5 years. What does that look like? And how can you start laying the groundwork now? 3. Ask yourself how you want to be remembered. What legacy do you want to leave behind? Even small actions, taken daily, contribute to the larger story you're building. Purpose isn't some elusive destination. It's something you can build right now, step by step, decision by decision. Whether it's about pursuing a passion, contributing to a cause, or living in alignment with your values, purpose is the thread that gives meaning to your daily life. And in that meaning, you'll find lasting happiness. There's a moment in every person's life when they're faced with a difficult situation, or a deep struggle. It's in these moments that we often realize something profound. Self-compassion is not a luxury. It's a necessity. The way you treat yourself in times of difficulty defines not just how you navigate challenges, but how you thrive through them. Self-compassion allows you to step out of judgment and into understanding, from harsh criticism to gentle care. In this section, we'll explore how embracing self-compassion can lead to greater resilience, reduce stress, and, ultimately, a more fulfilling life. Let me ask you something. How often do you give yourself a break? How often do you show yourself the same kindness you would a friend or loved one? The reality for many of us is that we tend to be our own harshest critics. We hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, berate ourselves for mistakes, and rarely stop to recognize our efforts. But here's the truth: perfection is a myth, and the pressure to be flawless only breeds stress, anxiety, and self-doubt. So, what if, instead of expecting perfection, you embraced your imperfections with love and kindness? What if, instead of judging yourself for falling short, you saw each struggle as an opportunity for growth and learning? This is where self-compassion comes in, a simple yet powerful practice of treating yourself with the same care and understanding you would extend to someone you love deeply. To understand self-compassion, we need to break it down into 3 core elements, as defined by Dr. E. Kristin Neff, a leading researcher in the field of self-compassion. These 3 elements are: Bar 1, self-kindness. Instead of being harshly critical, self-kindness involves treating yourself with warmth and gentleness when you make mistakes or encounter challenges. It's about talking to yourself as you would talk to a friend, with encouragement, patience, and understanding. 2, common humanity. Recognizing that suffering and imperfection are part of the human experience. You are not alone in your struggles. Everyone experiences pain, challenges, and setbacks. By embracing this commonality, you shift from feeling isolated in your difficulties to feeling connected to others. I'd read 3, mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to be present with your emotions without over-identifying with them. When you practice mindfulness, you observe your emotions without judgment, recognizing them as temporary feelings, rather than defining your identity. It's about acknowledging what you're feeling, whether it's sadness, frustration, or fear, without letting it dictate your actions. By cultivating these three elements, you create a space where you can approach your struggles with understanding instead of judgment. You begin to see challenges not as flaws in your character, but as opportunities to grow, learn, and ultimately care for yourself more deeply. Let's explore how to put these concepts into action. Start with self-kindness. Think about the last time you made a mistake, or when something didn't go as planned. Maybe you missed a deadline, or maybe you didn't stick to a goal you set for yourself. Instead of criticizing yourself with thoughts like, "I can't do anything right," or "I'm such a failure," practice self-kindness. Gently remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes, and that it's okay not to be perfect. Speak to yourself with words of encouragement, like you would to a friend. "It's okay. You'll do better next time. You've got this." Common humanity is an especially powerful tool when you're feeling alone in your struggles. In moments of pain or frustration, remind yourself that your challenges are shared by countless others. Suffering is universal, and it doesn't diminish your worth. Instead, it connects you to the human experience. Whether you're going through a breakup, dealing with a work crisis, or facing personal health challenges, there are millions of people who can relate to your pain. This doesn't make the pain any easier, but it helps you remember that you're not alone. And it fosters a sense of belonging. Next, practice mindfulness. When you experience difficult emotions, instead of pushing them away or letting them overwhelm you, pause, take a deep breath, and bring yourself into the present moment. Observe your emotions without judgment. Notice how they feel in your body. Perhaps tension in your shoulders, tightness in your chest, or restlessness in your mind. Just acknowledge these feelings without labeling them as good or bad. This practice doesn't make the emotions go away, but it allows you to experience them without being consumed by them. Over time, mindfulness helps you create a healthy distance from your emotions, making it easier to navigate challenges with a calm, clear mind. Self-compassion doesn't just make you feel better in the moment. It has long-term benefits for your emotional and physical well-being. Research shows that practicing self-compassion can lead to reduced anxiety and depression. When you stop beating yourself up for every mistake, you reduce the mental load that fuels stress and worry. Increased resilience. Self-compassion helps you bounce back more quickly after setbacks, knowing that you can treat yourself with kindness and support no matter what. Better relationships. When you're compassionate with yourself, you're more likely to show compassion toward others, improving your connections and communication. Stronger immune function. Studies have shown that self-compassion can boost your immune system by reducing stress, which is often a contributor to physical illness. It's clear, self-compassion isn't just a nice to have. It's a foundational pillar of a healthy, happy life. The more you practice it, the stronger your resilience and well-being become. One of the biggest hurdles to practicing self-compassion is the cycle of self-criticism. We all have an inner critic, the voice inside our heads that tells us we're not good enough, that we're failing, or that we'll never succeed. This voice often stems from societal pressures or past experiences where we learn to value achievement over self-care. The problem is that self-criticism doesn't drive improvement. It only creates stress, fear, and shame. Here's a technique to break the cycle of self-criticism. Reframe your inner dialogue. Next time you catch yourself thinking something negative like, I'm not enough. Try to challenge that thought. Ask yourself, would I say this to a friend who was struggling? If the answer is no, then you have the opportunity to replace that self-criticism with a more compassionate thought. For example, if you find yourself saying, I'm a failure, replace it with, I'm doing my best, and that's enough for today. Another aspect of self-compassion is self-forgiveness. Many people struggle with guilt or regret over past actions or decisions. It's easy to get stuck in a loop of what ifs. But self-compassion invites us to forgive ourselves and let go of these feelings. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning past mistakes, but it means accepting that we're human and that growth comes from learning, not from staying mired in past mistakes. Here's a simple practice to help with self-forgiveness. 1. Acknowledge the mistake. Write down what happened and how you feel about it. 2. Express your feelings. Talk to yourself with understanding. Recognize the emotions and accept them without judgment. 3. Release the guilt. Remind yourself that you did the best you could with the information and resources you had at the time. You are not defined by your mistakes. 4. Forgive yourself. Close your eyes. Place your hand over your heart and say, I forgive myself. I'm learning. And I'm moving forward. The most important part of self-compassion is that it's a practice, something you can develop over time. Each time you show yourself kindness instead of judgment. Each time you take a mindful pause instead of spiraling into negative thinking, you strengthen the muscle of self-compassion. It's a tool you can return to every day, especially during tough times, and it's a key element in building lasting happiness. Remember, you deserve the same love, care, and understanding that you would give to anyone else. The road to self-compassion is paved with small, consistent steps, and every step brings you closer to the person you're meant to be. Resilient, kind, and fully alive. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of the day, and you ask yourself, what would it feel like a day truly let go? Letting go is one of the most powerful ways to embrace happiness. It's about releasing the emotional baggage that you've been carrying, whether it's grudges, regrets, or fears, and making space for something lighter, freer, and more joyful. In this section, we'll explore the transformative power of letting go, how it can create emotional freedom, and how it leads to lasting happiness. Let's start with this. Holding on to old emotional baggage might feel like you're protecting yourself from further harm, but in reality, it only weighs you down. Every grudge, every unhealed wound, every lingering resentment ties you to the past, and the longer you hold on, the more it drains your emotional energy. It's like carrying around a backpack full of rocks. You may not always feel the weight, but it's constantly there, affecting the way you move through life. So, how do you begin to let go? One of the most powerful tools for letting go is forgiveness, both forgiving others and forgiving yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning hurtful actions. It means choosing not to let those actions continue to control your emotions. It's about taking back your power from the people or situations that have hurt you and saying, I no longer allow this to define my happiness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as something we do for others, but in reality, forgiveness is a gift to yourself. By forgiving, you free yourself from the grip of resentment, anger, or regret. It's a process that takes time and effort, but the rewards, peace, clarity, and emotional freedom are well worth it. Here's a forgiveness practice to help you begin the process of letting go. 1. Reflect on the pain. Think about the situation or person that you're holding on to. Write about the hurt, the betrayal, or the anger. Allow yourself to feel those emotions fully. 2. Acknowledge the impact. Understand how this situation or person has affected you. Recognizing the harm done is part of the healing process. It's important to honor your feelings without judgment. 3. Decide to release. Choose to let go of the emotional hold this situation or person has on you. Remember, forgiveness is not about excusing the behavior, but about choosing peace over pain. Or 4. Affirm your release. Speak these words aloud or in your journal. I forgive, name each situation. I release the pain and choose peace and freedom. Say it as many times as necessary to remind yourself that you are actively choosing to let go. This process can take time. You may need to repeat the practice over several days, especially if the wound is deep. But each time you practice forgiveness, you loosen the grip of the past on your present happiness. Regret is another heavy weight we carry. It's often tied to decisions we wish we'd made differently or paths we wish we'd taken. The truth is that regret keeps you anchored to what could have been, rather than what can be. It prevents you from moving forward with clarity and purpose. But here's a key insight. You can't change the past. No amount of regret or longing will alter what has already happened. What you can change is how you respond to the past. You can choose to see each decision, good or bad, as an opportunity for growth. Even if a choice didn't turn out the way you wanted, it taught you something valuable. The key to releasing regret is shifting your focus from what you didn't do to what you can do. Every day is a chance to make a new choice, to shape a new direction, and to create a new chapter in your life story. Fear, like regret, can also be paralyzing. Fear keeps you stuck, prevents you from taking risks, and blocks your progress. The fear of failure, of judgment, or of the unknown can keep you from moving forward. But fear is an emotion, not a fact. It doesn't have to control you. Here's an exercise to help you release fear. 1. Identify your fear. What are you afraid of? Name it clearly, whether it's fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of change. 2. Challenge your fear. Ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen? Then ask, what's the best thing that could happen? This helps you put the fear into perspective and see that the worst case scenario is often less scary than you think. And 3, visualize success. Close your eyes and imagine yourself facing your fear and succeeding. Picture yourself overcoming the challenge, feeling empowered, and achieving your goal. The more you visualize success, the more real it becomes in your mind. Maneuver. Take one small step. Commit to taking a small yet manageable action that moves you toward your goal, even if it's a baby step. This small action will help you confront your fear and prove to yourself that you can move through it. Letting go also involves the concept of surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in releasing the need to control everything. Often, we hold on to the belief that we can control every outcome, every situation, every person, but this desire for control can be exhausting, and it often leads to anxiety when things don't go as planned. Surrendering means accepting that there are many things in life beyond your control. It means choosing to trust that life will unfold as it's meant to, and that you'll be able to handle whatever comes your way. This doesn't mean being passive or resigned to fate. It means trusting in yourself and in the process of life. Here's a practice to help you surrender. 1. Acknowledge what you can control. Write down the things in your life that you have control over: your actions, your responses, your choices. 2. Acknowledge what you can't control. Write down what you don't have control over: other people's actions, external circumstances, the past. 3. Let go of the need to control. For the things you can't control, practice saying, I surrender, Let go of the mental energy spent on these uncontrollable elements. 4. Trust the process. Remind yourself that life is a journey, and you are capable of navigating it with strength and grace, no matter what happens. Surrender is about releasing the pressure to force things to go your way and trusting that things will work out as they should. It's an act of faith in life, in yourself, and in the flow of the universe. Perfectionism is a particularly stubborn force that holds many of us back. It convinces us that we must get everything exactly right, that our worth depends on flawless outcomes. But perfectionism is a trap. It keeps you from embracing your true self and limits your growth. Letting go of perfectionism is liberating. It's about embracing imperfection as a beautiful, natural part of life. It's about freeing yourself from the fear of making mistakes and realizing that mistakes are part of the process. You don't have to be perfect to be happy. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You are enough, just as you are. Letting go isn't easy, but it is necessary for happiness. It frees you from the burden of the past and allows you to step into the present moment with clarity and peace. Whether it's forgiveness, releasing regret and fear, surrendering control, or letting go of perfectionism. Each act of release makes space for more joy, more peace, and more growth. By letting go, you make room for the beautiful potential that lies ahead. You're at the midpoint of your journey now, and if you've been following along, you've learned about forgiveness, perspective shifting, and the power of letting go. These are all vital elements of happiness. But here's the big question. How do you make happiness a sustainable practice in your daily life? The secret is in building a routine, one that nurtures your mind, body, and soul, and aligns with your core values. A sustainable happiness routine isn't about having a perfect life. It's about creating intentional, consistent habits that support your well-being day in and day out. In this section, we'll explore how to design and maintain a happiness routine that works for you, one that's simple to integrate into your life, adaptable to your needs, and effective in cultivating lasting joy. By the end of this section, you'll have a clear, actionable plan for creating a daily routine that reinforces your happiness, resilience, and sense of fulfillment. It's tempting to think that in order to build a sustainable happiness routine, you need to overhaul your entire life. But the reality is that small, inconsistent changes are far more effective than sweeping changes that leave you feeling overwhelmed. It's not about adding a million new habits. It's about choosing a few that you can realistically stick with, and that will have the most impact on your overall happiness. Start by identifying 1 or 2 areas of your life that need attention. Maybe it's your morning routine, your relationship with technology, or your physical activity levels. Pick one area to start with and introduce small, manageable habits that support it. For example, if you're trying to improve your mental well-being, you might start by incorporating a 5-minute mindfulness practice into your morning routine. If you want to improve your physical health, you might aim for a daily 10-minute walk. These tiny habits add up over time and create a ripple effect that improves other areas of your life. The morning sets the tone for the rest of your day. A rushed, stressful morning can trigger anxiety and negative thinking that follows you throughout the day. On the other hand, a calm, intentional morning can create a sense of control, clarity, and joy that lasts well beyond your first cup of coffee. Here's how you can design a morning ritual that fosters happiness. Wake up early or earlier than usual. Give yourself time to ease into the day. Waking up even just 15 minutes earlier than normal can make a significant difference in how you feel. This extra time allows you to be intentional with your morning instead of rushing to check things off your to-do list. 2. Start with gratitude. As soon as you wake up, take a moment to reflect on the things you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as a warm bed, your family, or the fact that you have a fresh day ahead of you. Gratitude immediately shifts your mindset to positivity and abundance. 3. Mindful breathing. Spend 2 to 3 minutes focusing on your breath. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply through your nose for a count of 4. Hold for 4. Then exhale slowly for 4 counts. This practice calms your nervous system and sets a peaceful tone for the day. Number 4. Move your body. Stretch, do some yoga, or take a short walk. Even 5 minutes of light movement gets your blood flowing, energizes your body, and enhances your mood. Physical activity releases endorphins, which are essential for happiness. 5. Set an intention. Think about one positive, achievable goal for the day. It could be something big or small, like being present with a friend or tackling a work project. Having an intention helps you focus your energy and creates a sense of purpose. By starting your day with a happiness-centered routine, you're setting the stage for positive experiences to unfold. It's these small, intentional rituals that make a big impact on how you feel throughout the day. By mid-afternoon, energy levels often dip and stress can accumulate, especially if you've been running on autopilot. This is the perfect time to implement a quick midday reset to recharge your mind and body. Here are some ideas for a midday reset. Number 1. Take a short walk or stretch. Physical movement is one of the most effective ways to reset your mind. A 5 to 10-minute walk or stretching session can help clear your head, boost creativity, and release any tension built up from sitting or working. 2. Breathing exercises. Just like in the morning, taking a few minutes for mindful breathing can drastically reduce stress. Close your eyes for a moment, inhale deeply, and exhale slowly, focusing on releasing tension with every breath. 3. Eat mindfully. When we're busy, it's easy to scarf down lunch while checking emails or scrolling through social media. Try to eat mindfully instead. Take time to savor each bite. Notice the flavors and textures, and focus on the experience of nourishing your body. This not only improves digestion, but also brings you back to the present moment. Number 4. Affirmations. A simple affirmation can shift your mindset for the rest of the day. It could be something like, I am confident and capable, or I am grateful for the opportunities today will bring. Affirmations rewire your brain to focus on the positive. 5. A moment of silence. If possible, spend a few minutes in silence or with minimal distractions. Whether you meditate, listen to soft music, or simply enjoy a quiet moment, this time can be incredibly rejuvenating for your mind. Implementing a midday reset doesn't require much time, but it can restore your energy and help you maintain a positive, focused attitude for the remainder of the day. A calming evening routine is just as important as a productive morning. It signals to your body that the day is winding down and that it's time to relax. Here's how to design an evening ritual that fosters relaxation and sets you up for a restful night's sleep. Number 1. Limit screen time. Try to stop using phones, laptops, etc. at least 30 minutes before bed. The blue light emitted from screens can disrupt your natural sleep cycle. Instead, engage in calming activities like reading, journaling, or listening to relaxing music. 2. Create a relaxing environment. Dim the lights, light a candle, or use an essential oil diffuser with calming scents like lavender or chamomile. Create a space that invites relaxation and signals to your body that it's time to wind down. 3. Reflect on your day before going to bed. Take a few moments to reflect on your day. What went well? What are you grateful for? Reflecting on the positive aspects of your day will help you feel more content and ready to rest. 4. Gentle movement. If you're feeling tense, consider doing some gentle stretches or yoga before bed. Even just a few minutes of slow, intentional movement can relieve physical tension and calm your nervous system. 5. Deep breathing or meditation. End your day with a few minutes of deep breathing or guided meditation. This helps your body transition into a state of rest and relaxation, improving the quality of your sleep. By intentionally winding down in the evening, you send a message to your mind and body that it's time to relax and rejuvenate, ensuring you wake up the next day feeling refreshed. The most important thing to remember when building a happiness routine is consistency, not perfection. Don't worry if you miss a day, or if you don't do every single element of your routine perfectly. The goal isn't to create a rigid schedule, but to integrate these small, positive habits into your life in a way that feels natural and sustainable. Start with what feels right for you. Gradually build your routine based on your needs, energy levels, and personal preferences. The beauty of a happiness routine is that it's completely customizable. You have the power to design it in a way that works for your life. Building a happiness routine is about creating a life that supports your well-being, rather than waiting for happiness to happen by chance. With small yet consistent practices, whether in the morning, midday, or evening, you can create a structure that supports emotional balance, resilience, and lasting joy. Remember, happiness isn't a destination, it's a practice. By creating a routine that aligns with your values and nurtures your mind, body, and soul, you set yourself up for a life that's not only happier, but also deeply fulfilling and meaningful. The road to happiness isn't a straight line. It twists, turns, and sometimes feels like you're moving 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But one thing remains certain. Resilience is one of the most important ingredients in maintaining lasting happiness. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after setbacks, adapt to challenges, and stay focused on your goals, even when life throws curveballs your way. In this section, we'll dive into the power of resilience, how you can build it, and how it helps you navigate life's unpredictable journey with grace and optimism. You've probably faced difficult situations in your life, moments when it felt like the world was against you. Whether it was personal loss, career setbacks, or unexpected hardships, we all experience challenges that can shake us to our core. But here's the truth. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It's about how you respond to those difficulties that determine your ability to move forward. So, what makes someone resilient? It's not a lack of difficulty. It's the mindset and behaviors that allow people to persevere, adapt, and grow. Resilient people don't just survive tough times. They thrive because they know how to turn challenges into opportunities for growth and self-improvement. One of the most important components of resilience is perspective. When facing a challenge, how you perceive it can determine how you respond. If you see a setback as an insurmountable problem, your energy will be consumed by stress, frustration, and feelings of helplessness. On the other hand, if you choose to see it as an opportunity to learn, grow, or adjust your path, you approach the situation with an open mind and a sense of agency. Here's a simple practice that can help you shift your perspective when challenges arise. Reframe your thoughts. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow?" By reframing a situation in a positive light, you regain control over your emotions and mental state. This doesn't mean ignoring the pain or difficulty of a situation. It means choosing to see the opportunity for growth within it. A setback at work might be the perfect time to reevaluate your goals or learn a new skill. A personal challenge might prompt you to reflect on your strengths and values. Every difficult moment can serve as a stepping stone toward a more resilient, empowered version of yourself. Resilience is often referred to as mental toughness, the ability to stay calm and focused in the face of adversity. Mental toughness doesn't mean being immune to stress or emotion. It means learning to handle those emotions without allowing them to control you. It's about being able to keep your composure, make decisions, and move forward. Even when things feel chaotic. Here's how you can start building mental toughness. 1. Face your fears. Resilient people don't shy away from a fear or discomfort. They face it head on, knowing that the only way out is through. The more you challenge yourself, the more you grow. 2. Practice self-discipline. Mental toughness requires self-discipline. This means sticking to your commitments, even when motivation wanes. Whether it's a fitness goal, a career project, or personal development, staying disciplined through ups and downs helps you build resilience over time. 3. Stay solution-oriented. When faced with a problem, mentally tough people focus on finding solutions rather than dwelling on the problem itself. Cultivate a problem-solving mindset by asking yourself, what can I do to improve this situation? Or, what steps can I take to make progress? And 4, learn to manage stress. Stress is inevitable, but how you manage it makes all the difference. Practice stress-reducing techniques such as deep breathing, journaling, or meditation. The more you can manage your stress, the more resilient you become. 5. Accept imperfection. Mental toughness also means accepting that you're not perfect, and you don't have to be. Mistakes are part of life. Every failure is an opportunity to learn. And learning from failure builds strength and resilience. Believing in your ability to overcome challenges is a key element of resilience. Self-belief doesn't mean being overconfident or invincible. It's about trusting in your own strength and having faith that, no matter how hard things get, you can handle it. Here's an exercise to boost your self-belief. Reflect on past successes. Take a moment to think back to a time when you faced a tough situation and overcame it. Maybe you made it through a difficult time in your personal life, or you successfully completed a challenging project. Remind yourself that you have the strength, skills, and determination to handle whatever comes your way. While mental toughness and self-belief are essential for resilience, they're not enough on their own. Support plays a huge role in your ability to bounce back from hardship. Humans are social creatures, and having a network of people who support, encourage, and uplift you can make a world of difference. Here's how to build a resilient support system. 1. Surround yourself with positivity. Make sure the people you spend time with are supportive, optimistic, and motivating. You want people who lift you up, not those who bring you down. 2. Seek help when needed. It's okay to lean on others when you're struggling. Don't be afraid to reach out for support, whether it's through friends, family, or a professional. Resilient people understand that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. 3. Give support to others. One of the most powerful ways to build resilience is by helping others. By supporting someone else through a difficult time, you not only strengthen their resilience, but also reinforce your own sense of purpose and connection. Resilience isn't just about mental strength, it's also about nurturing your physical and emotional well-being. You can't be resilient if you're mentally, emotionally, or physically exhausted. That's why self-care is such an important component of building resilience. Here are some self-care practices to incorporate into your life to strengthen your resilience. Prioritize sleep. Without proper rest, your ability to handle stress is significantly reduced. Aim for 7 or 9 hours of sleep each night to recharge your body and mind. Engage in regular physical activity. Exercise reduces stress, boosts mood, and improves overall well-being. Even a short walk or a quick workout can increase your resilience. Eat nourishing foods. Your body and mind are deeply connected. Eating a balanced, nutritious diet helps fuel your body for the challenges ahead and keeps you mentally sharp. Cultivate hobbies. Make time for activities that bring you joy, whether it's reading, cooking, gardening, or any other creative endeavor. Engaging in activities that make you happy builds emotional resilience by reducing stress and increasing feelings of fulfillment. Just like any other skill, resilience can be cultivated. It's a practice that grows stronger the more you engage with it. The next time life throws you a challenge, remember that it's not the setback that defines you, it's how you respond. Approach difficulties with a mindset of growth, self-belief, and perseverance. Build mental toughness. Lean on your support system and prioritize self-care. In doing so, you will not only bounce back from challenges, you will emerge stronger, more confident, and more resilient than ever before. Resilience doesn't mean that you won't face hard times. It means that you will find a way to rise above them. You have everything within you to navigate whatever life throws your way. It's easy to think of happiness as something that's dependent on external circumstances, a new promotion, a vacation, or a perfect relationship. But the reality is that true happiness comes from a deeper source. It's not about chasing after fleeting moments of pleasure, but about cultivating a sense of purpose and meaning in your life. In this section, we'll explore the power of purpose and meaning and how they can serve as the foundation for lasting happiness, no matter what challenges you face. Let's pause for a moment and think, what gives your life meaning? What is it that makes you feel fulfilled, connected, and truly alive? It might be your work, your relationships, or your contributions to your community. It could also be personal passions like creating art, helping others, or pursuing a lifelong dream. When you have a clear sense of purpose, life becomes more than just a series of events. It becomes a journey towards something meaningful, something that gives you direction and focus. Many of us go through life on autopilot, jumping from one task to the next, but without a deeper sense of why we're doing it. Living without purpose can leave you feeling empty, like you're just going through the motions. But when you live with purpose, when your actions align with your values and what truly matters to you, everything shifts. You become more intentional about how you spend your time, and you make choices that bring you closer to the life you truly want to live. Finding your purpose is not always an immediate or easy process. It requires reflection, patience, and a willingness to dig deep into what truly drives you. So, where do you start? The key is reflection. Take time to think about the activities, experiences, and moments that have brought you the most joy and fulfillment. Here are some questions to guide your reflection on purpose. Number 1. What makes you feel most alive? Think about the moments when you felt fully immersed in life. What were you doing? Who were you with? What was it about those experiences that made you feel alive? 2. What values are most important to you? Values are the guiding principles that shape your decisions and behavior. What do you care most about? Is it family, creativity, adventure, connection? Identifying your core values is essential to discovering your purpose. Number 3. What are your unique talents or passions? Purpose often intersects with your natural abilities or things you're passionate about. What comes easily to you? What do you enjoy doing in your free time? These clues can help you identify what gives you a sense of meaning. Number 4. What legacy do you want to leave? Think about the impact you want to have on the world. What do you want to be remembered for? Your legacy might not be something grand or public, but it's about making a positive difference in your own unique way. The answers to these questions may not come all at once, but by regularly reflecting on them, you'll begin to uncover what truly gives your life purpose. When you live with purpose, happiness doesn't just come from external events. It comes from knowing that you're living in alignment with what matters most to you. Research shows that people who live purpose-driven lives experience greater well-being, have better mental health, and even live longer. Having a sense of purpose gives you a reason to get out of bed each day and provides motivation during tough times. But here's the kicker. Purpose doesn't always have to come from big, dramatic achievements. Sometimes purpose is found in the small, everyday actions that align with your values. It could be showing up for your loved ones, contributing to your community, or making a difference in the lives of others. When you focus on living in alignment with your values, happiness becomes more than just a goal. It becomes a natural byproduct of living authentically. Meaning is closely tied to purpose, but it's broader in scope. While purpose is often about why you do something, meaning is about the why behind everything you do. Meaning is what helps you connect the dots in your life. It's about understanding how your actions, big or small, are contributing to the greater whole of your life. When your actions align with meaning, it's easier to navigate difficulties and challenges. For example, let's say you're going through a tough time at work. If you see your work as meaningful, whether it's because you're helping others, making a difference in your industry, or contributing to your own growth, you're much more likely to feel motivated and resilient, even when the going gets tough. Living with meaning isn't about grand gestures or dramatic changes. It's about incorporating small, purposeful actions into your daily routine. Here's how you can start living with more meaning. 1. Set meaningful goals. Instead of focusing solely on external success, like promotions or material wealth, set goals that align with your values. For example, if family is important to you, set goals to spend more quality time with your loved ones. If helping others is your priority, set a goal to volunteer regularly or mentor someone in need. 2. Create meaningful connections. Relationships are a major source of meaning. Surround yourself with people who share your values and who support you in living a life of purpose. Build deep, authentic connections that go beyond surface-level interactions. 3. Reflect on your actions. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on what you did and how it aligned with your purpose and values. Did your actions contribute to something meaningful? Did you move closer to your goals? This practice helps you stay grounded and focused on what truly matters. 4. Practice gratitude. Gratitude enhances meaning by helping you appreciate the moments of joy, connection, and growth in your life. By recognizing what you're thankful for, you bring more meaning into your daily existence. Living with purpose and meaning doesn't mean that life is always easy or free from challenges. In fact, when you live with purpose, you may face more obstacles along the way, but you'll be better equipped to handle them. Why? Because purpose gives you a sense of direction. Meaning provides context for the struggles and challenges you encounter, helping you see them as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. The journey toward purpose and meaning is unique to each person. It doesn't follow a one-size-fits-all path, but when you choose to live a life centered around what matters most to you, happiness follows naturally. You'll find joy in the process, fulfillment in the journey, and strength in the pursuit of your dreams. Incorporating purpose and meaning into your life is one of the most powerful ways to cultivate lasting happiness. As you continue on this journey, remember that happiness isn't about having a perfect life. It's about living a life that aligns with your values, contributes to something bigger than yourself, and brings you joy on a daily basis. Purpose and meaning are the keys to unlocking a deeper, more fulfilling happiness that will sustain you for years to come. As we draw near to the end of this journey, it's time to explore the final pillar of lasting happiness, the transformative power of creativity. So far, we've talked about perspective, resilience, self-compassion, and purpose, all of which contribute to a happier life. But one of the most underrated, yet essential aspects of happiness is creativity, the ability to express yourself, solve problems in new ways, and see the world through a lens of possibility. Creativity isn't just for artists. It's a tool that can enhance every aspect of your life and bring you closer to the fulfillment and joy you seek. When you think of creativity, what comes to mind? Painting? Writing? Music? Sure, those are all forms of creativity. But the truth is, creativity can be found in all aspects of life. It's the way you approach challenges, the way you think about your goals, and the way you express yourself, both to others and to yourself. Creativity is the act of making something out of nothing, of seeing things from a different angle, and of finding solutions to problems in ways you may have never considered before. In this section, we'll explore how tapping into your creative potential can improve your happiness, boost your mood, and even help you navigate life's difficulties with greater ease. Let's dive into how creativity can be one of the most powerful tools for lasting happiness. One of the most powerful ways that creativity enhances happiness is through self-expression. Self-expression allows you to communicate your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a way that words alone might not be able to do. Whether it's through writing, art, music, or even through the way you dress or decorate your space, creative expression is a form of release, a way to externalize your internal world. When you engage in creative expression, you're giving yourself permission to be authentically you, without judgment or limitation. This is incredibly freeing. It allows you to process your emotions, to explore new ideas, and to find new meaning in your experiences. When you express yourself creatively, you give yourself a voice. And when you express your true self, happiness follows naturally because you feel more connected to who you are and what you value. Here's a simple exercise to tap into your creative self-expression. Set aside 10-15 minutes each day to create something. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. The goal is simply to express yourself. You can doodle, write in a journal, play an instrument, or even experiment with photography. As you create, focus on the process, not the product. Allow yourself to enjoy the act of creation without worrying about how it turns out. Creativity is about freedom, not perfection. Reflect on how you feel afterward. Did you feel more relaxed, more focused, more in touch with yourself? The act of creation has the power to transform your emotional state and help you reconnect with your inner joy. Creativity also plays a huge role in how you approach problems. When life throws challenges your way, the creative mindset can help you find new solutions that you might not have considered otherwise. Creativity encourages you to think outside the box, to step away from traditional methods, and to look at a situation from a different angle. Here's an exercise to enhance your problem-solving creativity. 1. Identify a challenge you're facing. This could be anything from a work-related issue to a personal goal you're struggling to achieve. 2. Brainstorm multiple solutions. Don't limit yourself to just one solution. Write down all the possible ways you could approach the situation, even if they seem impractical or out of the box. 3. Pick one creative idea to test. Choose one of your ideas and try it out. Even if it's a small step, taking a creative approach to solving problems can help you feel more empowered and less stressed. What you'll find is that creativity opens up possibilities. It allows you to see that there's always more than one way to handle a situation. And often, the unconventional solutions are the most effective. Life has its ups and downs, and when things get tough, your resilience can be tested. But creativity is one of the strongest pillars of resilience. Creativity allows you to stay flexible and adaptable when things don't go as planned. Instead of becoming stuck in frustration or self-doubt, you can use creativity to reframe the situation, find alternative solutions, and move forward with renewed energy. For example, let's say you've experienced a setback in a personal project. Instead of letting the disappointment take over, you could use creativity to reframe the setback as an opportunity to learn and grow. Maybe the failure teaches you something new, or maybe it sparks a new idea for how to approach your goal from a different angle. Creativity helps you see that setbacks aren't the end. They're just stepping stones on the path to something greater. Another beautiful aspect of creativity is its ability to bring a sense of play into your life. As adults, we often forget the joy of play. We get so focused on responsibilities, deadlines, and goals that we lose sight of the carefree joy we had as children. But play is an essential part of creativity, and it's also a vital part of happiness. Play allows you to experiment, to take risks, and to step outside the confines of routine, to bring more play into your life. Try these ideas. Do something spontaneous. Take an unplanned walk. Try a new hobby, or explore a new place. Spontaneity helps you tap into a more playful, adventurous side of yourself. Engage in activities that feel fun, whether it's a board game with friends, building something with your hands, or even watching an improv comedy show. Engaging in playful activities reawakens your sense of joy. Embrace imperfection. Play is about the process, not the outcome. Whether you're painting, dancing, or playing a sport, focus on the enjoyment of doing rather than the perfection of the result. Creativity also connects you to others. When you share your creative works, whether it's through art, writing, music, or even sharing a personal story, you open up space for others to connect with you. Creativity fosters empathy, understanding, and connection, both with yourself and with those around you. To connect more deeply with others through creativity, share your creative projects with loved ones and invite them to create with you. Participate in creative groups or workshops where you can share your ideas and learn from others. Support others' creativity by offering encouragement and appreciation for their works. Creating together fosters a sense of community, trust, and shared joy. The beauty of creativity is that it's a lifelong journey. There is no end to creativity. It's a practice that evolves over time. As you continue to engage with your creative self, you'll discover new ways to express yourself, solve problems, and approach challenges. The more you tap into your creativity, the more it becomes an integral part of who you are and how you live. Remember, creativity doesn't have to be complicated or perfect. It's not about creating masterpieces. It's about expressing yourself freely and enjoying the process of creation. Whether you're drawing, writing, dancing, cooking, or simply solving a problem in a new way, you're engaging in a powerful practice that leads to greater joy, resilience, and fulfillment. Creativity is a key to happiness. It's a way of thinking, being, and engaging with the world. It allows you to express yourself, navigate challenges, and connect with others in meaningful ways. By embracing your creativity, you can transform not only your own life, but the lives of those around you. The more creative you are, the more joyful, resilient, and fulfilled you become. So, what's stopping you from creating today?